Good afternoon, folks. Calling meeting to order. And the first item is the pledge. So all you stand up and recite the pledge, please. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Any correspondence at this time?
No.
Okay. Both cases are public hearings. I have to read the rules of conduct, so bear with me. At a public hearing before the board, the petitioner or proponent shall first present the facts or arguments in support of the case. Those who oppose the petition shall follow. The petitioner shall have rebuttal time at the conclusion of those opposing the petition. Those opposed shall then be allowed a total maximum of 10 minutes to rebut any new statements made by the petitioner in this rebuttal. It should be within the discretion of the board to impose any time limitation on either the petitioner or respondent, and to limit public comment to those determined by the state statute to interested parties. Written remonstrance shall be accepted by the board, but need not to be read into the board's record. Then this concludes the public hearing. To maintain orderly procedure, each side shall proceed without interruption by others. All materials presented by the petitioner and or remonstrators or supporters to the petition, including photographs, shall become property of the board and part of the record. Okay, with that, the first case is DB 2026-1. Applicant is Danke Zimnika. Zimnika. Okay, location is 614 North 50 West Valparaiso, Liberty Township. Zoning is RR, Rural Residential District. Acreage 0.47. Request to reduce the required side yard setback from 30 feet to 15.08 feet and to exceed the 20% of impervious surface coverage in order to allow for the construction of a new primary structure. Okay, sir, state your name and address.
Dominic Nika, 614 North, 50 West, Valparaiso, Indiana, 46385. We're coming before you guys today because we are requesting a variance on, as you said, on the setbacks as well as the impervious surface coverage for our lot. Late 2024, we had a house fire. The house was torn down, and we were building a new structure on the existing lot. We are part of Woods of the Winding Creek subdivision. That subdivision has covenants and restrictions. Those covenants and restrictions cited a 15-foot offset from the south building line. The existing house that we had previously before the fire was 15 feet off of that south side of the lot. We're just building a house basically almost in the exact same spot. The difference is that because we're building a new structure, we have to abide by the UDO code. And so in that regard, we're requesting that variance for the setback. The other request that we're making is for the impervious surfaces. The home that we are attempting to build on that lot is slightly larger than the previous home, but the previous home already did not conform to the UDO code. So it, I believe, was 24.1% of the lot coverage. We have my lot and the lot behind me in our subdivision are two of the smallest lots in the subdivision. We are 0.47 acres, and I believe the UDO code requires larger lot sizes for rural residential as it is. So we're already operating on a much smaller lot than would be in rural residential. We are operating under the constraints of we're on a septic system. The existing septic system is there. It was a 1,000-gallon tank. We are requesting you know, we're building the same number of bedrooms and bathrooms, and for updated health codes, that tank needs to be larger, 1,250 gallons, I believe. And so we have to put a new septic in as well. And so we're doing all of that on a much smaller lot than rural residential currently allows for. But of course, none of that is, it's the existing lot that's been there. So we are requesting that we put the house where we're putting it because of those reasons. And I don't know if Brad, you want to add to that, but that's generally our request.
Yeah, so what we've seen.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes,
My name is Brad Spiegel, 7th grade 18th Terrace. I'm the architect on the project. So we designed the house to fit with their family and conform to basically the size of the footprint of the house as it was original. What I see is in for rural residential, we're about half the size of the lot, the allowable size of the lot. So we're squeezing a lot onto this piece of property. So we're trying. Our overall coverage for the house and driveway are about 17 or 27%. The existing was 24%. So we're close to where we were with the existing house. There's a potential for a patio and a pool, but for the essential parts of the project, the house, the driveway, front walkways, we're at about 27%.
Anything else?
If you have any questions, I already answered.
It's a public hearing. So I want to turn it over to the public. Anybody like to speak in favor of this case? In favor of this case? Yes, sir. State your name and address, please.
George.
Come up to the
speaker.
microphone.
Are you here for the first case or the second case?
You're here for the,
I'm here for the property in Wheeler.
Okay.
yeah, that's the second case.
That's the second.
Oh, that's separate?
Yeah.
Okay, that's why I was confused.
Okay, somebody, that's okay. Somebody did sign in, Brad?
That's me.
Oh, you're based, okay.
So you're for the project?
Yes, I think I checked mark.
Anybody who's going to speak against this case or any questions? Seeing none, I'm going to close public hearing. Okay, repeat that again, sir, about the coverage. The original coverage of the house was 24%, and this is 27%?
Right. So if you look at the original house and driveway, that was at 24.1% coverage. Right now, with the new design, the house, the driveway, and the front walkway, we're at 27.8%.
But that does not include
That's not including
a patio.
a patio and a pool. Overall, if you consider the house, front walkway, patio, driveway, and pool, we're looking at 34%.
Yeah, that's high.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I'm looking at, listening to you, and you know, Chris and I talked. We can live with that 27%. We get up to 34%. That's a high number.
Well, and it's only high because of the size of the lot, right?
I understand.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Covered. And we have your long-term plans here, it's a swimming pool, you know, and a patio. I'm sure you'll put patio in, I assume, right?
Right.
Swimming pool, is that for sure?
We don't have current plans to put that in there, but since we're here today,
No, you're being upfront.
sure.
Now, there's a shed also on the back of the property. What is
Yeah.
that, is that staying or?
That'll be removed.
That'll be removed?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, let's talk about your septic system. I assume there's indications by your septic system. Okay, it's going to be enlarged also, right?
Right.
Yeah, by health code requirements, we have to build a larger, so we went back and forth with the company. They designed a solutions. There were 4 different iterations that we went through to try to fit the septic system on the lot, and what they came up with, and the reason why we need to maintain that 15-foot offset of the southern part of the lot is because that septic system's gonna have to wrap around that side of the house. We're constrained because we have an existing septic that's there with laterals in the backyard, and it would be a cost superseding, like going considerably over what insurance is willing to pay to dig that out and put a new septic in there. So what we propose is putting septic along that side of the property, you know, over the top of the laterals that are existing.
Have that been approved?
Yeah, health department approved all that.
Do we have a plan?
I have a design here, if you,
Yeah.
You can see from that we're right at the perimeter drain is right at the lot lines around there. So that contributes to our constraint.
Is this a mound system?
Above grade, yeah,
Conventional system?
I think they said above grade.
above ground.
It's a mound.
Yeah.
Above ground septic systems, do you have to have a move over area, like below ground, you have to have an area for failure, for new?
Yeah, so this is a Presby system, so it's, the 100% overage is built within the same area, so.
Within the footprint we're looking
In the
at.
same footprint.
Yeah.
That's all on the tree.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna be tight.
Right.
If this is
Right.
approved, you're gonna be tight.
Right.
Does it say that on that approval? Is there a move over on that?
I can see that.
And how much do you need for a move over?
Well, it's within
It's
the
within
same
that,
area.
yeah, within what you're looking at, all of it is, yeah, within that footprint.
And your tanks will be in the same location?
I'm sorry, Sid?
Your tanks will be in the same location as your current tank?
I believe so, yes. Yeah, so you can see that we're kind of limited on where we can put the house on the lot.
How many square feet is that secure? The new house versus,
The original house was 2,180, above grade square footage was 2,498. And
The footprint of the house, including the garage, 2498 for the old house.
what's
This one's at 3294.
quite a bit larger?
reason for that is, I have a family of 8, and so, you know, after the house fire, our options were basically, you know, we could attempt to try to rebuild the house as it was, which was already a constraint with the kids, and potentially sell that house and try to find another home in Valparaiso. I'm in real estate, so I know the challenges of that and being able to find a home that fits everybody. So we saw this as our, you know, the only option that we really had was to rebuild, and then we took it to design to build a house that meets the needs of our family, that we can stay. And so that's the reason why we elected to go that route.
And I understand that.
Yeah.
I understand that. Just a concern, for a swimming pool in the future. You're going to have a variance. It's not automatic, because you got a lot of coverage right now.
Yeah.
So, what size patio are you talking? Is that the porch strong, or is it different patio?
The patio in the back of the house is 14 by 16.
Okay, is this what you're showing me right here?
Correct.
Okay, right here in this corner?
Right.
So that's not in your calculation?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, it's
Which is
in
that
the
one?
back.
Yeah, I understand what,
It's actually this patio right here.
okay, and that's
Yeah.
not in your calculation?
It is. It is in that original, or the
In the
overall.
27%?
In the 27, yes, in the 27.
But the swimming pool's not?
It's not.
And does the concrete sidewalk and the porch?
That's in the,
So everything's in here in the
Mhm.
calculation
Except-
except the swimming pool
except the pool, correct.
and the shed?
Yeah, the shed's not.
The shed's already gone.
Yeah.
Is it for sure you're gonna build a swimming pool, or is that your plan to get a large family?
That's, large family, that's, trying to keep the kids at home.
That I understand. But just- Above ground swimming pool doesn't make a difference, right? We still have the coverage as an in-ground.
I believe that's correct, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and you can approve it without the pool, and then they could come back, because they didn't really ask for coverage with the pool, so we can't really include the pool. That's not, wasn't advertised with that coverage. So if they do get the pool, then they'll have to come back and get another variance, because they're over the side yard setback anyway, so they would have to come back.
Okay. Do you understand what she's saying?
I'm sorry, you said,
You did not advertise it as a swimming pool. Okay.
The
so I'm not-
the coverage.
The coverage.
okay,
Okay. So we're not gonna approve the swimming pool.
okay, my understanding on
Come back and
that,
ask for a variance, okay?
sure,
And they're gonna look at the total coverage,
yeah,
okay, at that time.
okay.
Okay, with that, I will approve case DV-2026-1, with the understanding you're gonna remove the shed. What size is that? Eight by whatever, the rear shed? You know the size of that exactly? I see 8.2.
8 by 12.
8 by 12, then remove that before you start construction, or when are you gonna start construction?
We're going to start March 1st. We'll need utilization of the shed for during the build, and then remove it.
Okay, how about removing the shed 30 days after the seal? What do you think? Is it before the seal?
Before it,
Before.
mhm.
The
We
shed,
can
the
have-
shed sits currently on where the septic system's going anyway.
Yeah, fine.
Right.
Okay. So anyway, I have to make some type of statement here. So the shed will be removed before you, or CO is issued. That's what that's right. Okay. And the swimming pool is not included in this motion. If you want that swimming pool at a later date, you have to come back and ask for variance.
Okay.
You need a side yard setback for that pool anyway, so you would have to come back, and that wasn't advertised in the,
Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
it wasn't on your application.
Okay.
So I'm approving the side yard setback from 30 feet to 15.01, and I'm approving you're gonna have 27% coverage, service, appearance, service. Okay, so, and that's right. Okay, you're approved.
Thank you.
Good luck. Now, is that the existing hole in the ground, or is that new hole for the foundation?
That was the original home. We knocked it down and dug out the original foundation.
They had a basement, or?
It was a bi-level, so,
Oh.
yeah. We had the excavator there, so.
Good luck.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, next case is DB-2026-2, applicant Kansas Mike LLC, care of Kevin Lawrence, McMahon and Associates, location 550 North, 620 Southwest, Union Township, zone CH, high-intensity commercial district, acreage 1.50, request to allow for 2 commercial structures to vary from the following. Section 2.34, side yard setback less than required 25 feet. Section 2.34, impervious surface coverage exceeding the maximum allowed 75%. Section 3.06, C1A, buildings that do not match each other in design or style. Section 3.06, C1, CI, use of here, then 3, approved facade material. Section 3.06, C1, CID, relief from meeting facade standard on all sides of the building. Section 3.06, C1D, a building designed with fewer than 8 corners. Section 3.06, C1G, relief from specific roof standards. Section 3.06 F1A, building height of less than 26 feet or 2 stories. Section 3.06G2A, relief of specific landscaping and the 100 feet green belt requirement. Section 3.06K2, relief from standard setback requirements. You ever got more? Section 5.04F, placement of accessory structure within the front yard. Section 5.06C, accessory structure with a cumulative square footage exceeding 50% of the primary structure. Section 3.07D, 5.22F, and 7.27, relief from the full landscaping plan requirements. And lastly, Section 7.25, relief from the requirement to provide an interior and exterior pedestrian network. Thank you.
Attorney Adam Sword here on behalf of Fisher Property owner Prince 5 LLC.
Kevin Coros McMahon, Associates, 952 South Davis Street, Valparaiso, Indiana, 46885.
And we did all the hard stuff. That's why you didn't know I was in the meeting.
Not sure, I'm trying to catch you guys off guard with the 3 team too, so he's well above my pay grade.
Yeah, I
That's why
know.
he's here.
Warden Lobster.
I do not work for Sword and Law at this moment.
Oh, okay. I'll remember that. Anyway, yeah, it's, the reason it's a long list is because for whatever reason, even though we're one full lot back from 130, the way the UDO reads, it's by distance, we get caught up in the overlay district along 130. Just as a housekeeping item, because I met with Kevin before coming up here, there is actually one board that's not on there. And we only looked at this because when you look at the property, and I do this the same because I know the business owner that's there is all one site, but it's actually 2 parcels. So the Boomerang site that has the cell tower and one building in the southeast corner.
Monica, can you zoom in on that a little bit?
Yeah, you see how it's kind of like a, it's like a fire shape. I call it Boomerang. That building that's currently there is an accessory structure. So there isn't actually a principal structure unless, for whatever reason, under the old UDO, they qualify the current accessory structure or maybe even the cell tower as a primary structure. But I don't think that's accurate. So we just wanted to be transparent on that. I don't think that's an issue because regardless whether we're looking at it as Boomerang site or both pieces of the whole property that's owned by my client, it's legal non-conforming.
And to be fair, Ms. Dale did have the accessory structure in your comment list. I think maybe we might have missed it on the publication side.
So if that is a technical issue, there are solutions for that we can talk about in the presentation if that is a concern. The good thing is that they're a contiguous owner, and obviously the smaller parcel, which is also legal non-conforming, has principal structures on it. So with that being said, Monica, you can leave this up. I'll just kind of shoot you a note when we can switch over to PowerPoint.
The system's down.
Oh,
I apologize.
okay.
That's
Well,
why.
then I will turn my laptop around and do it old-fashioned before the technology failed us.
Can we plug directly into the TV? Would that be better?
No.
Face is enough.
I'm not an IT, I'm sorry.
So just real quick, the Boomerang site, as I'll refer to it, is 1.5 acres. It is currently zoned commercial. The land directly across the street, it's owned by Union Township.
Is there a reason why they didn't combine them?
I don't think they've ever been combined, so that I actually know the history on this property. So before the current owner, it was owned by a gentleman who ran an auto body repair shop out of the site for many, many, many years. Fell ill, then they had a renter in there running a similar business that fell through.
Powder coating?
I think there was a couple different things going on there at the time, but the original owner fell ill, deceased, family kept it, and then the daughter started renting it out, and then Wallace Auto, that used to be down 130 closer to city limits, moved his entire operation out there because it could all be in one spot. And that's the current tenant and primary user right now of the existing buildings, when the new owner came in and bought it from essentially the estate or the trust or whatever it was that held title to right to Wallace Auto. And my understanding is Wallace Auto is planning on remaining there in all three buildings, which are on both sites. So the building that we were discussing earlier is not a principal structure. He is operating in that building as a lease.
I didn't know financially if it would be better for them to combine them, or if they had plans in the future with taxes
Yeah,
and stormwater fees and stuff.
We just caught that today. I mean, obviously by consolidating, it streamlined some of the fees and taxes, so.
It's an option.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I was saying if we get into that and there's a concern because of what is or isn't on there, I mean, we could just, you guys, as you know, you can condition it on consolidation. It's just going to save him money and it resolves the principal structure issue. The only thing that would do to the metrics for today's discussion is it increases the acreage, not by a whole lot. It might get it up to just shy of 2.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's kind of the context, historical. So northwest of there is obviously vacant farm ground, but it is actually zoned rural residential currently. And then, of course, on the south side of 130 is another automotive repair place, Accurate, their zone commercial, and then everything south of them is actually industrial. That kind of continues southeast as you go down towards into Wheeler. So it's kind of an interesting mix right around this area for uses. I know you guys have probably driven past this place many, many times on 130. If you blink, you miss it. It sits down, so topographically it's lower. One of the issues that came up through the process, and really the reason I got involved in this is because of the drainage that goes through the site, there needed, I guess, to be a drainage easement. That's why Kevin's here, so we get the nitty-gritty technical on that. I've got a legal description for that. We're ready to do an easement agreement. I know Dave Champion's reviewed this from a stormwater standpoint. And obviously, I would say, whatever your decision is today, from an approval standpoint, I would say it needs to be conditioned on the drainage easement aspect coming into play, because he's made a record of that. That should be in your packet for today. But we do have that information in place. What I can tell you is, and I can speak to this just because I've spoken with the owner of the automotive repair that's been there now, I think 3 years, is when they started doing the site work out here with the drainage issues that were identified, they went through and I want to say they upgraded the drainage infrastructure. This site used to be a mess when it came to rainfall and water. From talking with the tenants since being there and them getting these new pipes in the ground, but you can actually see the really large manhole that's right on the corner there in the oxbow of the parcel that's set for today. It can rain like crazy, and they're not getting any flooding either in that parking lot or around those buildings or in the back of the site. And I think that was one of the major concerns was the amount of volume that can come through here because they're kind of the end stage, but they do have the infrastructure because they're right along 625. That's been a huge improvement. So anything that we do from the drainage easement standpoint and the water utilization on the site is going to incorporate what's already there. Obviously, we have buildings that have started construction. They are to be used for outdoor storage. We know that the stop place kind of went in because I guess the building permit wasn't actually fully paid for and picked up, but then we ran into the issue over the drainage and the easement, and that's kind of what brought everything to a halt. So there hasn't been any ongoing construction out there at this point. But as far as structure goes, again, a lot of these variances, if we took away the overlay, which, you know, Kevin and I have discussed this, if we access 130, which we don't, we only come off the 625 through the other parcel, to be subject to the overlay requirements when all you can see as you drive by the site from 130 is that cell tower. It's not a good look. him actually building the building that's nearly completed actually screens all that. So it actually improves the visual aesthetic when you drive up there. I did have pictures if you want to see them, but when you're interior to the site, looking back through the three buildings that Wallace Auto utilizes, his metal seam siding, color, orientation, everything matches identically those existing buildings. So when you start stripping away all the overlay requirements, if we were coming in without that, the only thing we'd really be in here on would be the height issue. These are clearly over 20 feet in height. But when you look at what's existing out there, ironically, almost all three of those buildings are accessory structures that are repurposed. I think the main large building is partially block wall, but it still has a metal seam pole barn that's attached on with a lean-to that's been fully enclosed. The heights of these buildings kind of match the aesthetic with this site, and then we've got other sites just up the road where we've got really large ag and multi-use farms and front yards that are like 25 and 30 feet in height. I had those pictures too. So from my standpoint, if we kind of ignore for a second a lot of these overarching requirements that had this site actually been along 130, I'd say, yeah, we have to comply, we have to screen it, have to make it look nice. You can't even do it with this site. And that's one of the things that I dislike about the distance aspect of the UDA overlay. You get properties like this, and especially through Wheeler, we have a lot of these. They just kind of get caught up, even though they're removed right from that primary corridor. So really, it's just about the height and then the conditions that cause the stop work on the drainage aspect. I do have David Champion's letter here with that information if we need to go through it. But I think, as you guys know, he thoroughly looks at all this. He's got Kevin's data numbers run between impervious site, rooftops. Ironically, with them building the buildings there with the surface that currently exists, the impervious surface already existed before the buildings were in. So I don't know that really, I think I even saw a chart from an assessment that my client had done of the impact that this building would have. It was a very small incremental increase on stormwater drainage impact to the whole site, which again, I think they've gone nuclear on with the increased pipe size to connect to the infrastructure out by 625 west. So with that, we're looking for a favorable recommendation, because to me, I think this helps cleans up the site, and they can get this project finished in pretty much short order. And the site's really already configured for a use like this, just given its history of legal non-conforming and awkward shape and access. Thank you.
You say you need to have some pictures, is that all you have?
Yeah, I do, yeah, let me,
Go ahead.
I'll turn these around, yeah.
Thank you.
And just to note, Adam said it on the head, that we do have substantial conformance from David Champion as the final bottom line, with the exception of what gets approved here. So we do have, for drainage, so we do have substantial conformance there.
So, and I'll talk loudly so everybody can hear, and I'll try to show this. So, the dumpster picture here, this is actually the plumber, so he's the parcel that's just south, so he's really at the corner of 130 and 625. So this is looking his direction, that's his building. But then when we pivot, this is the smaller building in the front parcel that's not actually on the property, but I wanted to show for visual context, Lawless Auto having all these, the color, the aesthetic, the vertical seam on the main building. So this is all from that parking lot area where that 178's on the aerial. And then going into the site, past their security fences. So this is looking down the north side of the site with the one building that was under construction. You can see the cell tower in the back. That's where they stopped. This building then is the one on the south that currently you can see driving up 130, and you can see the back of the building. That's the framing for this guy. And then this is the back side of, if you go through Lawless's building, not through the gate, and come out of the back garage to access the rear of the site. So just another perspective of those existing conditions. Again, those buildings, the fact that they have vertical metal seams, this is an actual accessory structure on that boomerang site. And then I had the calculations, again, to the actual impact that Kevin worked with Kevin on for stormwater drainage. And if you want, just given we presented that, I'll put this on a thumb drive and give to you guys so you have it for the record.
Thank you. Okay, so public hearing. Anybody want to speak in favor of this case? Sir? Grant? Speakers by Monica there.
Good afternoon. My name is George Topol. I'm the Union Township trustee. The park across the street from there is the Union Township Community Park. And there's a few questions that I have. One is Willow Creek Parkway extension, which is in progress. I'm not sure how much is in progress, but we should find out very soon. I wonder what impact that will have on the project. We've just spent a significant amount of money on drainage, and I think the drainage runs from Joe Berger's farm through the park, across the street. I know I've had extensive conversation with Kevin Reisky, the surveyor, over the years where it's been a problem with flooding. I think that's been corrected. And of course, we just took care of the park with broken tiles and all that sort of thing. So the other thing is, what is the proposal for what type of business will it continue to be lawless, or will it be investing in the business? Let's see, drainage, and those are some of the concerns that I have on behalf of the township. So, and also just to alert the fact that the Willow Creek extension, we've got a lot of money invested in it, and I don't know how that will impact the property because I don't know the specifics of where it will, what the encroachments are, what impact it may have. That's what I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Is there anybody else out there in the audience? So if you want to answer those questions, please.
Yes, so right now, Lawless Auto is the primary use that's there. They're not planning on leaving, so the buildings that are going up, they're going to be used for outdoor storage primarily. So they would be open air, they weren't going to be fully enclosed. So things like boats or RVs. I know that Lawless Auto has given my client an indication because of the volume of their work at times, they may actually rent some of those bays just to have extra space since it is already a secure site. And then they would have to go through that location. It's obviously this is not a very large storage facility. And it can't be just in that nature. So I think that's going to be, in essence, the one change for the use here. But the primary user being Lawless Auto, that's not going to be changing. And obviously the cell tower site isn't going to work anytime soon. Glad to hear that the observation has been since the new pipes went in and the busted drain tiles fixed, the drainage has been improved. Willow Creek, it's here, it's gone, it's here, it's gone. I don't know if you have anything real specific on it. I know we've discussed and looked at what happens when the right-of-way expands, if it goes to 40. It would impact a little bit of the site as it relates to some of the parking in front of the main building, but the buildings can all remain, there's multiple points of ingress and egress that can get addressed if and when that actually comes to fruition.
That's a good point to note that first, Susan's email, we are dedicating 40-foot right-of-way as part of this project, so that's 40-foot half right-of-way on our side, so that would be subject to 80-foot total wide right-of-way, so I'm assuming that comment was put on there in forward thinking of what may or may not come through here, because that 80-foot right-of-way covers, I believe, the arterial thoroughfare map. So that's a very wide right-of-way for a county road such as this.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're kind of already beginning forward thinking on that, and that's right, that comment then would be related to what has always been envisioned for the Willow Creek extension if and when it comes. So, and as far as what other impacts that may or may not have, I think it needs to be speculation. We've seen different versions of that, or iterations, even different locations where it's supposed to come down and forward. I think the other comments were just observations. I think I covered everything.
So back to Grant, did you cover all your questions? the drainage to there.
I may have additional information about the Willow Creek. I am on the planning commission, regional planning commission. So, there's a lot of factors that go in there, but, acquisition of property would possibly begin this year.
Okay.
So, I don't know what the impact is. I don't know the specific footprint. That would be a question for the commissioners and for the engineers that, have laid it out, and I think the problem is pretty well settled if all continues the progress. I think it's close.
So then in that last iteration, is that the 80 feet then coming down the intersection?
I don't know much about that project at all, but again, this is not an arterial roadway as dedicated on the thoroughfare map, so the request for 40-foot right-of-way tells me that seems to be some obvious plan that, you know, our typical right-of-way here would be 30 at most on it is 30 on a local road. So
We're far exceeding.
We're far exceeding that, which tells me that there is, at least from your guys' side, there was probably some forward thinking on that for the request of the 40-foot right-of-way.
I don't mean to put you on the spot, but do you know if where it was proposing to connect or intersect with 130, was it 80 feet?
I know there's 4 phases to the project. Phase 1 is just north of that property. Phase 2 is a bridge at this point, is still in progress with the engineering, but I think that's pretty well determined. And then phases 3 and 4 would take it down to 30. But only phase 1, I can't remember exactly where we are in the funding process, but there's a lot of money that's already projected for the completion of this phase 1. And phase 2, there's a lot of money in the bridge, which would maybe give you a covered parking lot.
Well, if it's anything like the ones, yes, it's out. Southeast, no, northwest. I can't remember, where's that other bridge at?
Well, I can't tell you exactly, but there is a rendering online that you can take a look at. I don't know how close that ties in with your specific location, but it gives you a general idea. I'd be happy to talk to you about it.
Yeah. Because you guys are gonna have an access, because you guys are gonna have an access issue too, right?
Well, I can talk to you about it later, because we had made arrangements for a post office to be located on that park, and that has been suspended with the current administration reevaluating potential projects. So that would be across the street, or directly across the street, on the northwest corner of our park. So I've looked at it for quite a long time, so it's close to the surface.
Okay, I'm gonna close the public hearing. I see no one else out there.
We can talk after.
Sure, Don, appreciate it, thank you.
Well,
Somebody brings up a good point, you know, like the extension. Are we gonna have an issue in the future? You're saying no because you dedicated 40 feet.
And if you look at the proposed plan, the existing structure that's there is considerably further to the west. So, and of course, again, it's also, like Adam said, it's all speculation. We have no idea the full
Because
potential of that.
if the county is gonna be purchasing property,
I would contact American Structure Point for more specifics on your impact.
if the county's gonna be purchasing property, they build these structures, I mean, we have to build, you know, we have to purchase it, right?
Correct.
Yeah, and so the way that I do this too, I've got cases right now for widening roads out in Fort through state DOT. It's a public project, so the way the takings law works is if it's for public, I mean, they come to tomorrow and say, hey, we're taking all of it or 50% of your property for whatever, as long as it's for public. It goes through an appraisal process, fair market values assessed based on what's there. So whether the buildings are there or not, it'll be based on fair market value. So it is what it is. And again, if it's speculative, I mean, I remember back when this all started, they thought it was going, and then it went away, and it's back, and it sounds like plans are getting developed. I mean, we all know what little bridges cost across the ditches, so I can only imagine doing an overpass starting back.
Substantial.
Yeah, it's, many, many, many millions. So, you know, and at that point, if there's gonna be as big of a bridge as what's also I-130 there that crosses over.
And the railroad too.
In the railroad, I mean, it's a significant structure. That's gonna probably impact, depending on how they design it, it could be an entire impact where they have to take the whole property. So, but at this point, if it doesn't come to fruition, we can only deal with what we've got.
You don't know, I hear it, yeah.
You
And
can't
the-
speculate what
Yeah.
they're gonna do. I mean,
Right, yeah.
Could change.
I mean,
we get
cross
different
that bridge
commissioners,
when that
and they make
happens,
different
you know.
decisions, and they, you know, choose not to move forward.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean,
It's a good point.
yeah, I mean, two open air, and these really aren't like finished with all the bells and whistles like some of the other things I've come in on. I mean, from a cost standpoint, replacement cost, that's about as cheap as you're gonna get. So compared to probably a 20 or 30 million plus bridge, it's a drop in the bucket.
To drainage issue now, that's resolved? They signed
Yes.
off? Okay, so-
Yeah, David
so
looked it
that
over.
drainage issue, okay. And
Yeah,
then-
we have a easement agreement in place with the south adjoining neighbor that is ready to be finalized as soon as the.
We have easement, is that what you're?
Yep, the exhibit's already created, the easement's already been,
We've got the
created.
language for it, Dave has the parameters, I just haven't drafted any, because when we came in, we have to come to this step. I didn't want to finalize anything, if anything else came up, or you guys wanted something different, because you have the ability to put conditions, as you know. So I didn't want to finalize anything and have to go back and review it.
Like I said, we have substantial conformance from Champion. So he's seen our proposed layout, he's seen the numbers, we've given him kind of roughs of the drafts of easements and.
Okay, these buildings be for storage, cold storage?
Yeah, for these, yeah.
Correct.
Okay, and outside storage, they're allowed to have outside storage, or not?
I mean, really, the only outdoor storage you have going on right now are the vehicles that are there for the actual businesses allowed for the automotive repair.
You mentioned RVs and campers, so on and so on. Are they
Yeah,
gonna
if
be
they wanna do
inside?
something
Are
like
they
that,
gonna
they.
be inside? or-
Everything has to be
Are they gonna be
inside.
inside?
They're gonna be, yeah, so they're kind of like, to explain it, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but they're kind of like oversized animal buckets. So they're gonna be three sides closed. So you put the vehicles under the roof just to keep them out of the direct elements. So,
But they won't be sticking out.
no, they're not gonna be sticking out. I mean,
It's
those-
almost like a lumber company.
Yes.
In a sense, what you're saying.
And in fact, with the way they have it laid out, they can't have anything sticking out of the building on the south because it's impacting the access easement back to the cell tower site. So we have issues with cell tower contractors or companies. And then the one on the north side, because of the way that these guys agreement involves auto with how they move vehicles in and around through the secure premises, they can't be blocking that anymore.
I guess I'm struggling with internal storage, cold storage, exterior, because really it's only three-sided, and to me, it's possible you could look at it as outside storage, because it's not covered on all four sides. So is it really interior, exterior?
No, it's gonna be all indoor.
They don't have.
You can't have outdoor storage.
Yeah, and that's really.
You
only
can't
got
have
you only
somebody's
got three
camper
walls.
there that's storing it. I mean, outdoors, outdoor. So you gotta, okay. So if you wanna change that in the future, you want outdoor storage, you could come in for a use variance to allow outdoor storage, or don't want it.
So you don't close the whole building?
Yes, sir. So we're under the same assumption then that you'll be four-sided.
Oh, I'm saying.
Yes.
Full-on closed building. Still cold storage, but fully.
Yeah, that it makes.
It just makes it cleaner,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
and we don't have people coming complaining.
Yeah.
We actually talked
Yeah.
about that already.
And I tell you where I'm coming from, there was a storage yard in the city, not too far from here, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know.
And what complaints did they have? I mean, it looked really terrible. I think it's gone, I think it's
Remnants of
it's right around, as you go out, around, behind the concrete company.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, well, there's actually.
Was that Ford Law?
No. No, I'm up in Liberty. My jug's outside. Hey, Rich has been there. Trying to get my tractor in my barn.
So we do a red tag, right? Right.
Okay, so we're clear, these buildings will be enclosed.
Enclosed, yes, sir.
Okay, completely. Okay, no open. All right. And I have to ask a question. How did you get started without permit?
I'm sorry,
How did you get started construction without permit?
how did I get started in construction?
Without
Without a permit. Totally not my doing, I'll tell you right now. What happened was, when I bought the property, I bought the property material from Menards to have a building built. I specifically told Menards that I'm not gonna buy this, do not send it unless I have a permit. Menards sent me a person that can build the pole barns. I specifically told him that very thing. Next thing I know, and he told me it was my fault for not seeing the permits themselves, but he told me that he had the numbers and the permits ready to go. And I said, okay. So I ordered the pole barns, they came, they started building it. Next thing I know, I get a call from Porter Company, and they tell me, you don't have permits. Now, that's insanity. You know what I mean? That's insanity. I never, ever
Exactly, Howard.
would allow that to happen. Never. And, I mean, that's just ridiculous. I mean, this is what happened. So that's what happened, you know?
Yeah, when I drove by and seen it, I said, what's going on?
Well, they told me they had, Ron told me they had permits, they go, well, then what's the issue, what happened? And I'm like, so I had to call him, and then I had to talk to the owner. Yeah, it's interesting how that happened. Because he does have permit numbers for them, he just never, it came in and paid and picked them up, which I think would have then resulted in a conversation about needing to be here.
Okay, Chrissy, how are we gonna handle the cell tower? How are we gonna handle the cell tower? It wasn't advertised, what are we gonna call it?
The what?
The cell tower building.
You mean with like the
So
principal
what do we
structure?
call it? What is it?
Oh, you're talking about the accessory structure?
I'm sorry.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, look, if there's a concern on that,
Well,
we didn't really get into this, but I mean, if they ask you to consolidate into one parcel, it saves you from duplicative stormwater and other taxes, so it actually cheapens your taxes for the site in total, and it resolves this whole not having a variance from the principal structure, meaning everything that you have on the boomerang piece is accessory, that there's not a primary structure.
I mean, the bottom line, Adam, is if I do what we do, we're talking about the same money, right?
Yeah.
That's a no-brainer.
Exactly, and that's why I just wanted to really.
Unless you wanted to sell a parcel in the future or something, and you don't want to combine them, and you want to, but you could always come back and subdivide it, but if you wanted to leave them split in case you wanted to, you have plans to sell them in the future or something, I wouldn't recommend combine them together, but if you don't have any plans on trying to make money on it, then I would combine it together, that way you have one tax bill, one fee for stormwater, one fee for recycle, and it's all on one place.
All makes sense.
Yeah.
you're good?
Yes.
Okay.
So we can just tell them to combine it. It doesn't cost anything to combine them either. You know, I know government likes to nickel dime you.
And in reality, it's the way it's being operated with how he's got the tenant and they're on both sides of it anyway, so, I mean, they're treating it as one piece.
So
Yeah.
you're suggesting combine both parcels with them?
Mhm.
And you're in agreement with that?
Yes.
All right, I'd like to make a motion with first, case DD-2026-2, with combining the two partial as one. Drainage, you said the drainage easement, signed? Okay. And, the type of business is storage, internal storage, and the storage, the buildings will be completely enclosed for storage. There is no outside storage. With that, I will approve case DB-2026-2 is approved. Did I miss anything?
Thank you.
No.
Philip?
Monica, do you have a copy of what I advertised? Was that part of the green card they gave you? What's that?
We need the
I-
letter.